Hi, Jules Cruise Companion. Today we're going to visit the Crusader Castle of Ajloun to the north of Jordan. It's high in the mountains and it's much cooler up here than it is in the city. 7 degrees today. So this castle dates from about 1099, which links into those two castles down in the south, Shobak, Montreal, and Karak Castle. Saladin was the founder of the Ayyubid dynasty, 1171 to 1250. He was the one who eventually drove the Crusaders out. The Mamluks, or the Egyptians, revolted against the Ayyubids in, I think, 1150, and the Mongols, raining. The Mongols also invaded this area in 1258. Ajloun Castle currently has a dry moat, but it probably would have been surrounded with water, and then it would have had a drawbridge. It's a bit difficult to see, but this gap here, when you're on the next level down, is just an open hole, and that's where you would be able to drop your hot oils, your stones, etc. You'd be able to drop them through this defence just here. As we enter this staircase just off the main entry hall, you may walk past this and not think anything of it. But what has been described to me as this is where the rope would have been attached, one end to the drawbridge and one end to a horse, and a horse would go up and down to raise and lower the drawbridge, and this would be the pivot point for the raising and lowering of the drawbridge. As I was describing from below, I've come to the first level and I've just come above the Montreal, the murder hole. And this is where I'd be standing to drop the hot oil or the heavy rocks onto anybody who had breached that first line of defence, such as the drawbridge. So that is the forest of Ajloun. From this room of the castle we can see the kitchen. We'll go over and have a look at the kitchen now. very important when you're looking around a castle like Ajloun that you take some time just to examine and explore each nook and cranny. So there's a little side room here, a chamber, and it indicates to me that it must have been for somebody really important, because this is a flue and that is a fireplace. The other reason that tells me this must have been a space for a really important person is just over in the side there is a doorway that leads straight to the mosque. So with some bit of detective work, I would anticipate that this space would have been somebody for a really important person. When looking at a space such as this, which is the kitchen, and at the far end there, that is the fireplace, that this would also be a banquet hall, and there is own natural light and ventilation with these spaces in the ceiling. It would be really interesting to be able to hear the sights and smells that would have been in this space. And there's a little doorway over here. And I'm wondering if this, in reality, could have been leading to a castle garden. Because that would have had a roof on it. Cornucopia, so that is a sign of fertility. It's like the grain and wheat and berries and grapes in the ram's horn. That's the cornucopia. So this section of the castle is the Byzantine chapel, and the most important part about this one is the mosaics. And so if you can see what is represented by the fish, and then you've got some rectangles, diamond shapes. So that's the loaves and the fishes. Entering into this hall, the Usama Hall, you can tell that it's a pretty important space as well, because here's a fireplace and here's a flue. On this very rainy day, over there is the Dead Sea, and there is salt. We can see nothing today. So now that we've climbed to the top of Ajloun Castle, the invitation's open. Please come and visit. It might not be this cold when you visit, and there will be spectacular views of the Ajloun forest. This is Julie Jules, cruise companion, saying, come on down, Jordan's open, the invitation is there. Stay safe, everybody. Happy travels.